gotta get to sleep, sweetie.
But there was a shadow on the wall.
So I understand that this idea first
It's
came to you
time.
and your wife. You wanted to do a movie, a scary movie about marriage. You're no stranger to thrillers, no stranger to scary movies. I'm curious to know how you psychologically cleanse your mind when you're done with all of these projects. I bet you it can take a toll on an actor.
It definitely can start to permeate your thinking. People sometimes ask if it's actually scary when you're on the set while you're shooting, and not so much. The music's not playing, and everyone is there together. You're not really alone and walking down a hall or in a house. But when you spend your day, uh, trying to put yourself in that extremely stressful kind of moment, it can definitely start to find its way into your dreams and your overall psyche.
Is there anything you do to kind of push it out? Maybe meditate, prayer, um, anything like that?
Drink. No, I do meditate, and it's also meditation. I think has been helpful for being isolated during this pandemic as well. It's interesting. There's things in there that are very much straight out of my life. For instance, my character's wife in the film keeps pushing me to journal, and so I've taken up her advice, and I'm journaling, and I'm listening to these kind of meditation apps, and these are both straight from my life and from David Koepp, who wrote and directed it. I've succeeded in the meditation, but not so much in the journaling. As many times as Kira's bought me journals, they sit mostly empty.
I watched the movie in the comfort of my apartment. It was very intimate, and I was terrified. And I easily dream about things I watch right before I go to bed. Will you share a reoccurring dream that you have?
Oh, well, interestingly, I dream a lot about houses, and I never really thought of myself as somebody who was interested in architecture, but my father was an architect and a planner, and someone once said, and I once asked a kind of a dream analyst, and said, what is this? And they said, well, a lot of times your dream, that house is really you. So if you're feeling a certain thing in a certain floor, that could be one part of your emotional life, or a corridor could mean something about you. So when I have these dreams about houses, I try to tend to do my best to remember what kind of a house it was and what the feeling in that house was.
Speaking of houses, the house, the home, should I say, in the movie is a character in itself. Just curious if y'all found that house on like a vacation rental home, because I can guarantee no one's going to be checking in anytime soon, or is it something you created?
I would beg to differ. I bet you a lot of people after seeing it might want to, experience that house. That can go both ways. But yeah, the writer director had conceived it not as a creepy antique kind of typical horror house. He wanted it, although he wanted it to be in Wales and very isolated. He wants something very modern, very minimalist, very stripped down, and wasn't the easiest thing to find, and yet here it was. And we kind of felt like, well, we have to get this house. It has to be the place where we shoot, and we did, and it really becomes a great character in the film.
Oh, it truly does. And those who would actually check in are much more brave than I am. Kevin, thanks for talking with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.